created this addendum to the Perekim that we're learning, which I'm excited about. I think is a great way to keep moving through the Sefer, but focus on things which deserve extra focus, which maybe we don't go to always focused on. And in this amazing journey of the Mesilas Yesharim, there's no reason to run through it. Let's enjoy, savor, embrace every moment. But I have a new step to this time. And now in the addendums of the second Perek, I'm going to actually go back to the first Perek, because I saw something now which is relevant to the first Perek, and this is the best place to put it in, to be honest, before we start the third Perek. And the truth is, really, it's something which we would have to hear all the time, because he's going back to the shorish, the root of everything. The Mesilas Yesharim told us at the beginning that Yisoda Chasidus v'Shorish Avodah Tmima, the foundation of all Avodas Hashem, all higher level Avodas Hashem, is Shidbarer v'Yitamet, that becomes clear and emes to a person. Ma chovas ha'olam. What is your chova? What's a person's chova b'olam? And the question that we had dealt with was, what's the difference between birur and emes? What does that mean? They sound very similar, and as Mesilas Yesharim also often does, he uses the words gashmius and chomer, and it's hard to know all the time what all the terms mean, and I don't always make guesses about them. And if I think I have a good shot in it, or I've heard a good shot in it, I'll offer it. And sometimes I don't offer it, not because it doesn't need to be spoken out about, but I just don't necessarily know what it means. Okay, so but we did say, friends, if you're holding, yidbarer v'yitamet, they are in fact not similar, because birur means something becomes clear to you, and emes means something becomes true to you. And the example would be those who engage in chavrusa learning could hear something from their chavrusa, which is absolutely clear from your chavrusa, but as clear as it is, you see it's not true. I understand what you're saying, right? People often like to say, oh, if you don't agree with me, it means you didn't understand me. No, I did understand you, and I disagree with you. I got it. Or sometimes we don't, but of course, sometimes we do. You get exactly what the person's saying, where they're coming from, the whole thing, but you think it's a non-truthful statement, non-truthful way of looking at the world. So birur doesn't necessarily imply truth. Emes, someone can hear something, I hear the truth in what this person's saying, but they lack the eloquence, they lack the words, they lack the crispness to express it clearly. So I see he's a person of truth. I see this idea of truth. I wouldn't know how to say it. I wouldn't know how to explain it. I wouldn't know how to get it across. But the kernel of truth is there. This is truth. So birur and emes are in fact different. You can have birur without truth, and you can have truth without birur. And that's why this idea, which is so important, of ma chovaso b'olamo, needs both birur and it needs emes. Shidbarer v'yitamet. That's my pshat, and I still like that pshat, but I must offer a new pshat which I saw for the first time that I certainly remember from an incredible book. First, I just want to make a plug. This is, sometimes I'll make a shameless plug for my own svarim. Lahavdil, this is a not shameless plug, because not for my own sefer. I have no revenue in it. I don't know the people involved. Zero. But I'm telling you, Tavi Bracha Zol L'B'Techa. This is the book called The Inner Life, about Moran Rabbi Yitzchak Kutner, the Rosh Yeshivah of Chaim Berlin, the Baal Pachad Yitzchak. It is breathtaking. It's not like other Gedolim books you read, nothing against other Gedolim books, but it's not like it. A lot of it is, this was the Zichronis, many things that he wrote, and his daughter was one of the people in his world that was closest to him, the great Beria David, a great woman in her own right, the one who headed the BJJ, the Beis Yaakov Seminary, which was one of the greatest seminaries, I think it still is, for decades. She was a famous person, Latzma. I was zocha to see her many times, and as I would go for about a 6-month period, I used to go to her illustrious husband, to be honest, David Shalashudis, and she'd always open the door, and you didn't just go in, you had to ask permission before you went, not every time. But I asked her of Yonas and Shlita permission. Fortunately, Rebbetzin Beria passed away. But anyway, and this was Rav Hutner's single daughter, and she wrote the Zichronos. And she writes many things that Rav Hutner told her, and that others very, very close told her, and things that Rav Hutner wrote about himself, which are really just breathtaking, no other word. And it's not something you read anywhere else, and it's in English, And my wife got it for my birthday. I'm not always an easy person to get birthday presents from. Thank you, Rabbi Dina. And it's absolutely incredible. So the inner life. Now, and he deals with this question. And I don't remember ever seeing anybody deal with this question. It's in chapter 9. You can see it yourself. And I will say, important, I think this version added some stuff from the Zichronis in Hebrew, which I didn't read. The actual Zichronis, anyone was interested, Machon Yerushalayim put out a Sefer Zikaron on Martin Rav Hutner. I'll say one more word about Rav Hutner, just because, talking about Rav Wolbe, who gets quoted so much and is the Mechanchim of today, at least, the older ones, the 40, 50-year-olds, certainly 60-year-olds, maybe some of the late 30-year-olds were greatly affected, many of them by Rav Wolbe and his Svarim, Ali Shor. Those were like, the brass tacks book of so many. And you can see the difference between Ali Shor Chelik Aleph and Chelik Bet. And the difference is my Rebbe Reb Lachman was a direct Talmud of Rav Hutner, said to me was, as Rav Wolbe writes himself in the introduction to Ali Shor Chelik Bet, was that he learned by Rav Hutner for 8 years. And I think they learned Pnimiyus HaTorah, Kabbalah, etc., and that made it indelible. As great as Rav Wolbe was, and as much as he received from Rabbi Yerucham, learning by Rav Hutner was a change. A total different world was opened up to him. In fact, Rav Wolbe told me this himself. I think the words he used was, "I have a Rebbe who's 30." I was talking to him about one time about what a Rebbe is, something, and he said, "I have a Rebbe that was 30 years younger than me." I think he said 30, which was Rav Yonasan David. Yonasan David, Rav Wolbe died many years ago, and Rav Yonasan's Baruch Hashem in his 90s, and unfortunately lost his Rebbetzin, sadly, and recently, very sadly. But this is the story. So Rav Wolbe became a Talmud of Rav Hutner. All those who think, how can I learn from someone younger than me? The Rav of my shul is a young whippersnapper. He's only 40 and I'm 50, and he's 35 or even 28. And let's remember, I think the Ramah died when he was 33, I think. The Ramchal when he was 40. So there's a lot to learn from younger people. As I get older, I have to remember that myself, not, he's younger than me. Well, he's younger than you, but he's smarter than you, and he knows more. So let's see a picture of him, but there he is back there. So anyway, that's Rav Hutner. Rav Hutner is just really a breathtaking person, breathtaking mechanech. And I hope more svarim about Rav Hutner come out from his Talmidim. That's a whole discussion about that, why Rav Hutner, a proper biography hasn't been written about him. I don't really know, but it's a shame because his impact was unique. You see it in Pachad Yitzchak, which is quoted all the time, which is an incredible sefer, incredible. You see it in his Talmidim and the Hemshech, the people he made, both of the rabbinic nature and extremely strong Balabatim. Very, very special. Okay, so with no further ado, friends, Rav Hutner does in fact get into this. So just one note, I'm reading the English, which is a translation. So how he said it exactly himself, you can check there. I'm going with this. This is a well-translated book, it seems, and the words make sense. So the chapter is called Clarity and Confirmation. Now, Rav Hutner says this, listen to this. When a person is in a state of dilemma, having to choose between two equally plausible sets of facts. So there are two ways that you figure out which way to go. Once is you have a sound and irrefutable proof to one option. Other times, you don't have an exact proof like what I use to the word like an empirical proof, right? It's a test study. It's this. Studies not always are proven because they're jaded sometimes by the people running it for their agenda and to get honor and covet. But for sure, there are definitely empirical tests which we can count on, which we study. Other proofs in Lav, the proofs in Torah, right? There's a clear proof. The Ram says this. No cholik, good. But sometimes you don't have that. Listen carefully. But will instead see myriad slight indications which all point in the same direction. Sometimes you have like an irrefutable proof. This is it. Chatuch, like we say in Hebrew. Done, set, advised. And sometimes there are indications. None of them have the weight of that proof, but there are indications which come out. In such situations, he will not have a single compelling basis for his decision, but it will instead be based on the sheer volume of indications. I wasn't sure which way to go. I wasn't sure where to travel to. I wasn't sure how to get home. I wasn't sure which yeshiva to go to, which job to take. Here suddenly they gave me $20,000 more, $30,000 more. That was a slam dunk there. And then it's like, okay, here the perks are a little bit better, not yet. Well, here it's a little bit closer to home, not yet. Here the boss is a little bit nicer, not yet, etc. But then all those things go together and they say, well, this is the place I have to go to. Sheer volume of indications, Now Rav Kedarka explains both. On the one hand, the irrefutable proof, $40,000, I just raised it, $40,000 extra a year, that's really a reason, which is what, about 45,000 shekels today? I don't know where the dollar is today. It's a joke, I hope. Yeah, but the decision that a person arrives at the very first might seem stronger because it's more solid, it's conclusive. On the other hand, the second type has an advantage because of the consistent, ongoing manner in which it is formed. I heard this piece of truth once. I applied. The other thing is, like, here it keeps looking good. It keeps looking good. It's getting constant confirmation. In the first case, a person has to remind himself, why did I do this? Oh yeah, because $40,000. In the other case, often the ongoing indications keep coming. Oh, I see the job right here. I'm in the job, and the boss says, okay. But why did I take this job again? Oh, $40,000. That's why I took it. The other one is you're facing all the time. Every day, it's an easier ride. The boss is nice. The work atmosphere is bright colors, whatever, etc. Second type of decision, the reason will constantly be present before him. Indeed, it can be said without exaggeration that the consistent confirmation that is present in the second instance is at times more powerful than the glaring clarity that is present in the first instance. That is what the Ramchal means by Yitbarer Yitamet. Incredible, right? Yitbarer means barer, clear, clarified. Yitamet means confirmed. That's why the chariot is called clarity and confirmation. Okay, so it's a very, very different shot than our shot, but that's I'll read the translation, how here they translate the Ramchal. The basis of Chasidus and the root of perfect avoda is that it becomes clarified, put in Rav Hutner, absolute clarity, boom, this is it. That's what Birur means. And confirmed, Yitamet means confirmed to man. Confirmed means through multiple indications. So just to compare it to Arpshot. Arpshot it's two ways of thinking, of seeing it, right? I have the Birur of the thing, which it isn't necessarily true, and I have the emes of the thing, which isn't true. So Rav Hutner is learning very differently. The Birur is the clarification through absolute proof, and the emet, Yitamet, is the confirmation through many, many indications which come our way. So what would that mean in terms of Machov Asa B'Olamo? A person says, look, I have these kochos. I am, very, very good at drawing and with creativity, and I can make a good impact in the world. All the circles fit. I'm going to be a graphic designer and try to work for a nonprofit, and if not, try to work with something in the private sector that's doing meaningful work, which there are many things in the private sector which are doing meaningful work. That's my job. Boom, that's it. Full things out. Now, that's the Birur, right? My koach, this is what I got to do. Now that becomes my chova bolam. That's part of my obligation in the world, is to be the best graphic designer I can be for Kavod Shamayim, for my family, for the Jewish community, for the world, etc. That's a Birur. The Yitame, the confirmation is, wow, as I'm taking on the job, I wasn't just sure what my job should be, but I went into graphic design, and now I see all the time how this fits me, and it makes me happy, and I'm making an impact, and I'm helping an organization. So there was never that grand clarity. My kokos, my purpose, my ability can make money. Let's go. But I went into it, or as I was thinking whether I should go into it, and I took a test run for 3 months or 4 months or 5 months or 6 months. I'll try it for 6 months without that clarity. But then I saw as I was doing it, the job fits me, etc. So Machov Asa B'Olamo, what a person's obligation is in the world, we have to look for both those things, says Rav Hutner. We have to have that objective. We have to look for, understand. Let's take it straight to the Avodas Hashem level. Machov Asa B'Olamo, that a person lo never lesanas lesanei l'Hashem lenos b'ziv shchinaso, like we learned. Basically, did the first paragraph. It's all about Kirvas Elokim Litov. Our life is about Ruchnius. We need Ruchnius. We need more and more Kesher Kadosh Baruch Hu. I have absolute clarity of that, right? It's so clear. There's nothing else that's worthwhile. That's Baruch to me, right? What else is in the world besides Kirvas Elikim? Yisamid, I keep looking for indications. Oh, a Torah life works so much better. With the Rebbeinu Shalom in my life, I'm happier. I'm not as stressed out. I'm not nervous about what's going to be. I used to be so stressed. I didn't know what kind of woman I would marry. I didn't know how many children I would have. And now I see. I didn't get into this because of to have more children. I see, wow, a big family, something I would have never imagined. Now I could see how that would play out. And the Torah lifestyle and the Kadosh Baruch Hu being involved with him is so much better, so much nicer. You keep seeing all those nice things, a different perspective. I used to look at the rain as a negative thing. Now I realize if it's sent from the Rosh Yeshivah, it must be a nice thing, Tomod. And I keep confirming myself. And those two things, just to close it, why do you need both? Like Rav Funder is saying, Shid Barer, it has to be clear to you. You have to understand empirically. A person just says like, oh, I'm only in this because I have a lot of nice confirmations. You feel the weakness in that, right? I hope we all feel the weakness. No, there is nothing else, right? Eino movado. What are you living your life for? What are you doing? You're covered, money, this, that. That's what moves you. Come on, that's nothing. You have to have that empirical clarity. Shibarer, chavas alabam with the Rebbeinu Shalom. That's what it's about. But also, we have times of weakness, and that was clear. But difficulty set in. So a person needs always also the yisamid, the confirmation to confirm his decisions. So it's a powerful idea from a great man, and I think everybody will agree it's well worth the session. And we should have bizocha to Mekayim all the pshatim in getting more biur and more emes in Machav Asenu Ba'olam.